Next, we'll look at some of the features of Confluence that support you in building out and managing your content for documentation. Confluence is the perfect place to create documentation. There are a number of features that help you with this. In this segment, we'll focus on using the templating and blueprint features of Confluence to help you present and structure your content. We'll look at setting up a space and some of the important considerations for when you do set up a space. Confluence has features that will help you standardize content and use predefined labels, and thus help you establish an ordered space that's easy to use. Space settings help you control access and permissions for content actions such as creation and deletion. Confluence has documentation space blueprints and page-level blueprints for how-to articles and troubleshooting articles. And then, of course, there are templates that you can generate yourself, which we covered in the Confluence Content Skill Builder. Let's begin by creating a space and a page based on templates. In the following demo, we'll look at creating a space using the documentation blueprint and using the how-to article and knowledge base blueprints.
Here I am in my company Confluence instance, and I've decided to generate a new space to contain documentation for our latest product. I've logged in as an administrator, and I have the permission to create a space. This is obvious because I can see the Create Space link here. I'll click the Create Space button, and here in the pop-up I'll choose the Documentation Space option. In this example, I'm naming it Show. Confluence helpfully provides a templated space for documentation, and you can see what is added when we create a documentation space. The home page has these macros added automatically. I'll delete the panel macro and the tip macro first. Since they are in a row that's part of the layout functionality, I will edit the page and then click on the layout icon here to display the layout options, and then I'll click on the Remove Section icon to delete the row. You'll notice a few macros have been added here to surface content in the space. There's the Content by Label macro, which we looked at in the previous demonstration. If I click on the macro, you can see the settings in the pop-up window. Here you'll see this is displaying pages only, and we'll display pages with a label of featured added to them, and it's limited to this space only. Then there's the popular label macros here on the bottom left. The popular labels macro displays the most popular labels used throughout your Confluence site, all within a space. In this case, this is limited to this space only, which makes sense. A popular label is, as you might expect, a label that has been added to many pages. Then there's the live search macro. This provides a handy search box to search, in this case, this space. If we click Edit to look at the macro settings, you can see here that it's limited to search in this space. You can also provide some instructional text in the search box, here in the placeholder text box. I'll add the text Search for Show documentation. I'll click Save to keep those settings. Finally, I'll add the panel macros behind each of these sections to improve the look and feel of the page. Next, let's look at using the how-to article blueprint. The benefit of using a blueprint in Confluence is that your page content will be standardized. This means that content is not going to confuse either consumers of the content or the people who create it. It's delivered the same way each time, providing a framework so that the content is easy to consume and navigate. I'll create a page based on the how-to article blueprint, then quickly fill it with content and then save it. This is great, but I'd really like to add a label to each page that is created from this blueprint. It's possible to edit a blueprint at space level and also globally. Changes at the space level will only impact blueprint use in that area. Changes to the global blueprint will impact all uses of the blueprint throughout Confluence. I'm a space administrator, so I can update the blueprint. I'll go to Content Tools, find the blueprint and then edit it. As you can see, there is no way of adding a label to this blueprint. So how can we make this work? What I need to do is use a template. So what I'll do is copy the blueprint content and then paste it into a template. Then I'll add in the label to be added to each page that's created based on this template. Add the label show_use. Remember that you can't add spaces in the names of your labels because this will create two separate labels. This is why we've used an underscore to join the two words. Now every how-to template gets an automatically added label, and this will help to use the content surfacing related macros that are available in Confluence. When you save the page, you will see the user created template show how to. Finally, return to the Space home page. Now, let's create a new page based on our show how to template. I'm going to press C on the keyboard and then select the template from the Create menu. Scroll to the bottom of the Create page window to find your show how to template. Click Next in the page wizard to go directly to our page. Name this page Create a Show. Let's look at the page content. You can see that we have some instructional text here and an info panel, and again the content by label macro. These are all macros you're familiar with. Here at the bottom of the section there's the page properties macro. If you look at the macro settings, you'll see that it's hidden. This means that this content isn't surfaced to consumers of the content. It's only going to be visible by editors of the content. You can see here that there's an option to link this page to a Jira issue. So we can link this content with any reported issues, or we can create a Jira issue from here. Let's click in the panel and then type the curly brace. Select the Jira issue macro. Here we'll create an issue inside Confluence to Jira. Of course, this will also create a link in the Jira issue back to Confluence. Everything is nicely linked up, so it's possible to manage the associated issues quickly and without searching. Finally, let's promote our template. Go to Space Tools, Content Tools, then click Promote to bring the template higher up in the Create Page Content pop-up by clicking on this link here. Next, look at the impact of that change. When I click Create or use the shortcut C on my keyboard, you can see the blueprint is promoted to sit in a section above the virtual fold, so we don't need to scroll to find it. Remember, you can change the blueprint and template content on a space basis or for the whole of Confluence. I'm a space administrator for this space and also the Confluence administrator, so I can do that at either level. And that concludes this demonstration, where we looked at creating standardized content using templates and blueprints.